Hello, I'm Justin, and I'm part of the Do Not Scratch Your Eyes podcast. This is Peter.
Hello.
Do not scratch your eyes!
And we've been asked to sort of summarise the season so far, well, the month so far. And the first question, our team's current league positions. So, where are we, Peter, in the league?
Well, we're fourth at the moment, or kind of joint third with Burnley and Reading, depending on goal differences here and about, but fourth officially. It's going okay. We've kind of suffered, I think, a few more draws than we would have liked, but that's part and parcel of the Championship. We all know it's an absolutely bonkers league, and that every time we turn up, anything could potentially happen. So I think we're probably reasonably comfortable with fourth, kind of on the shoulders of the front runners, ready to make our move. Probably not until about February, hopefully.
Yeah, we've already played Burnley, of course, whom we beat. Reading's coming up soon, so we're sort of playing teams in and around us at the moment, which is a good thing if you win them. Not such a good thing if you lose.
And our first game was against Sheffield United, who are currently sitting atop of the league, and we got them probably kind of a couple of days too early for them in that sense, because they've gone on a hell of a run since. But we got them, and I think we're reasonable value for our 1-0 home game win for the first game of the season.
Are we reasonable value for our position in the league, would you say? I think we are, actually.
I think we are, but in terms of Watford, we still haven't really kind of got up to speed. We haven't seen us really perform very well for long periods, literally in any game yet. I think like a lot of teams in the Championship, we're having to wait for the Premiership teams to kind of decide what they were doing with their squad. And as we're talking now, there's about 24 hours or maybe 36 hours left to go of the transfer window, and a lot of stuff is being kind of moved late. So we've probably got players still that we might see shift. And we still haven't been able to bring in as many players as we would have liked. So I don't think really that our new manager, who started this at the start of this season, Rob Edwards, and unlike most Watford managers, we hope he completes this season. Would be nice. He's not really working with what I think he would have expected to work with. He's not really got the players that fit his preferred shape.
So the next question is best and worst moment so far this month. And I think the best moment came late on in the month, late on in the game against Middlesbrough last night, when we were drawing 1-1. And then in the plus minutes after 90, we scored a winning goal, which was a lovely thing. I can't remember. Can you remember the last time we scored a last-minute winning goal? I think maybe against Arsenal a few seasons ago. That was the Cajones.
I think in the Championship. So we went up, we came down, and we're hopefully trying to get back up again. In that Championship season, we had a game away at Cardiff, and it looked like it was going to be a 1-1, and we've not scored a free kick for about 15,000 years now.
There you go.
And Adam Messina hit one straight at the keeper, and the Cardiff keeper basically kind of just decided to turn into a pack of cards and fold, which was very nice for all of us. That was in the last minute, definitely, and that was worth having.
There is, of course, the very famous last-minute goal against Leicester. So, yeah, we do it occasionally, but we haven't done it for a while. So it was very nice, I think, to see that. And I think that's probably the best moment of the month so far. Can you think of anything else that matches that?
We've got to do the best and the worst, haven't we? I think for me, the best and the worst came in the same game. So we beat Sheffield United on our first game on a Monday night. Our second game was on a Monday night again. We were all looking forward to Saturday at 3:00 kickoffs. That had to wait a while. But we played away at West Brom. And I would say the best moment of the season was Ismail Assar basically hitting a howitzer of a shot from in his own half, about 55 yards over the stranded keeper and into the goal. And I would suggest that probably the worst part of the season has been the other 89 and a half minutes of that match, where West Brom absolutely tanked us and can quite rightly accuse us of daylight robbery getting away with it. In fact, it was so bad we got a penalty, which Ismail Assar, which still hasn't yet actually reached the goal line. It was hit so weakly. Yeah. But those two moments, I mean, in a way, that bad one, even that one we got away with, which has been a bit of the order of the day. What was your worst one?
I can't think of anything much worse than that penalty miss, to be honest with you, which means we're quite spoiled, I think, if that's what we're going to say is our worst moment of the month so far.
I like to think of us as Watford fans as having a motto of if nothing, we're not spoiled. Absolutely, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that was probably, and that was all in one game as well. So that was, quite interesting. And if we had won that game, I think West Brom would have been right to be screwing because we didn't deserve to win that game. And it felt right as a draw, even to a Watford fan. So, yeah, good call.
It was a bit poor. I think probably the only other thing that would go down as a worse thing was seeing reports of Newcastle wanting to buy our absolutely shocking. You wouldn't want to look at him. Please stay away from him. Brazilian forward in Yao Pedro.
Yes.
Incredibly overrated. Anybody who's watching this before the 1st of September at 11 p.m. Anybody who's watching after it, he's absolutely bloody brilliant.
Yeah.
And his game last night was tremendous. But we were expecting to lose Ismaila Sarr and Emmanuel Dennis. Dennis is gone. Sarr is still here. But Yao Pedro is very, very young and needs to stay here in Hertfordshire, where he knows what's good for him for at least another 5 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite unsettling, all of that, actually, because 1 minute we thought he'd gone and we sort of, resigned ourselves to him going. Then, no, he's not gone. And various usually credible sources have been saying, oh, he signed, it's all a done deal. And you think, oh, okay, it's a done deal. And yeah, that was quite unsettling. So, yes, quite right. Keep your hands off João Pedro, I would say.
But for usual credible sources, read Fabrizio Romano, like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who else can you turn to? The next question is the best signing of the window so far, and will your club bring anyone else in? Well, now, as we speak, it is the 31st of August, just gone 6 p.m. So the window's open for how long, Peter? Another 30 hours?
Another 29 hours.
Another 29 hours. Will we bring anyone else in? Well, that's something that we've been asking since the window opened. I would suggest, I'm right in saying we need a right back or a right wing back.
Yeah.
I also think we probably need to strengthen in the middle of the pitch, and possibly, well, it depends on who leaves the club as to whether we need to strengthen up front as well. So, who knows?
Yeah, I think our theory is that either Ismaila Sarr or, I'll cross myself when I say this, João Pedro might leave the club. And if they do, then we need to make sure that they don't leave the club. And then the club come out and say, but we didn't have a chance to replace them. We will, if they go, we need to have some forward, some firepower. Even easy for me to say. The right wing back piece has been a huge thing all through, ever since we got Rob Edwards from Forest Green, where he played a 3-5-2. We've known we wanted to have a right wing back all the way along. The fact that we haven't got it is frankly inexplicable, because we've been playing with last year's player of the season, who's a left wing back and entirely left-footed. I mean, genuinely, if you ask him to stand on his right, he'll fall over. He's that left-footed, and we've been playing him on the right, so you can imagine the quality of the crossing. Last night, we mentioned Justin mentioned the win against Middlesbrough. For the last 10 minutes, due to injuries, they swapped him over on the left, and what a good player he is. We'd forgotten about that, with him being a square peg firmly banged into a round hole. But hey ho. Best signing for me, probably Hamza Chowdhury. In the first game or couple of games of the season, before we got him in on loan, I think with an option to buy from Leicester, the big-haired one came in and has basically been tackling around and basically putting himself about, giving us the physical aspects that we absolutely needed. And he obviously has fantastic gravity-defying hair. Speaking of which, who do you think it is, Justin?
I see what you did there. No, I'm going to agree with you. Hamza Chowdhury's been a revelation. I wasn't convinced when I saw the initial news, because he hadn't played a lot of football the last couple of seasons. But yeah, he's looking like a really good player.
The other one who, again, as our left wing back moved across, we saw the first bit of Courtney House, who we've just brought in as a left-sided centre-back, playing 3 at the back. Having a left-sided centre-back's important, and he looked tremendous as well. But after 10 minutes, we'll see. But there we go. Final point on Hamza Chowdhury was that I was convinced he was like about 6'4". Turns out he's only 5'10", but with his hair, he's just enormous.
So the next question is a quick overview of the rest of the league table and your thoughts. Well, I don't have the league table in front of me, although I understand Birmingham are struggling.
Yes.
which is sad because Troy's gone there. So I don't like to think of him being in a team that's struggling. Also,
Coventry are down the bottom because of their problems with their pitch being unsafe. So they've only played 3 games.
Yeah.
Of which they've lost 2 and drawn 1. Huddersfield don't seem to be pulling up any trees. Burnley went their first game of the season, didn't they? And they didn't look much cop at that point. Quite surprised that Swansea and Birmingham and Middlesbrough aren't really looking that good, because I thought Middlesbrough looked okay last night. Quite surprised to see them sort of down the bottom. Interesting also that Stoke were the first people to sack their manager. I mean, some of these people have no respect for Watford and don't realise that is our position to grab every single season. So we're quite worried that 7 games in, Rob Edwards is still with us. We don't know what to do with this emotion. And then we kind of obviously looking up to the top end. We've got an interesting game this weekend with Rotherham United, who are in 8th place in the Championship. That's going to be an interesting one, because Rotherham, with due respect to them, have to kind of live on great facilities at the New York Stadium, but still kind of meagre resources budget-wise, and are really kind of punching above their weight. Obviously, we hope to stem that as we go up there at the weekend, but we'll see. I thought QPR looked really good, and as ever with Watford, the one thing we can do reliably is start other teams' seasons off for them. So they came up and gave us a beating and got another win again last night as well. So they seem to be going well. We shall see.
Absolutely, yes. I think one of the more intriguing teams at the moment is Preston, with their 0-0 draws, one of which suckered us in. We got involved in
yes.
draw. They're an interesting team. And as if by magic, the third member of the podcast has just turned up. Hello, Carl.
Sorry I'm late. Better late than never, as they say.
That's okay. So we've answered 4 questions about Watford so far this season. It'd be interesting to see if your comments or answers are any different to what Peter and I said. The first question is thoughts on Watford's current league position.
Okay, pretty happy overall, I've got to say. I think we're where I thought we'd be, or hoped to have been at the beginning of the season. We're not scoring enough goals, in my opinion. But I think overall, I'm pretty satisfied with where we are. We're in the mix, shall we say.
Very good. I think that's pretty much what Peter and I said, to be honest. The second question is best and worst moments so far this month.
Oh, wow. Best moment, probably the Middlesbrough game, the last-minute winner. That seemed to lift the whole ground. That felt really good. Worst moment, defeat against QPR has to be for me. I think the manner in which how we conceded the goals is just a bit disappointing in that performance. So yeah, the QPR worst moment, and Middlesbrough the best moment.
So that is slightly different to what Peter and I said, because we had we had the last night's last gasp winner up there, but we also had Sarr's halfway line goal as
yes, yeah.
And then the penalty miss is one of the worst. So
in fairness, I think we went for the rest of the kind of 89 minutes of the West Brom game.
Yes,
as being with a particular low point when you were thinking it can't get any worse. Oh, we've got a penalty. What might happen now?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So the next question is the best signing of the window so far, and will your club bring anyone else in?
Wow. Honestly and truthfully, it hasn't really shaken me up, the transfer window this season. I'd probably say best signing, tricky one. I'm going to say, just because he scored finally, Bayo, which I'm over the moon about. I think people will mock me, but
we are for a start. You've missed a very obvious one.
I don't know who to say.
Really
Chowdhury.
Hello,
sorry.
Hello, yes, I'd like to order an effigy, please. And if you have any matches to go with it, yes.
Who's been amazing in the centre of midfield.
Oh, God.
Great bit of business. Will we bring in anybody else? I hope so. I hope we bring in a right back. I think that is a massive point of interest for us, and hopefully a midfielder as well, just to strengthen that.
I'm still leaving that in.
You can't do that to me.
So the final question is a quick overview of the rest of the league and your thoughts.
I think the Championship is always going to be a difficult league. Anyone can beat anyone on their day. The bottom team coming to the top team can turn out a result. And I think it is such a difficult league to get out of, and it's so unpredictable. And you know, as Watford supporters, we probably feel that we should be thereabouts at the end of the season, but with a new manager and so on, you never know. And I think it's so unpredictable this season, and that's really to sum it up. It's so unpredictable. Anything can happen, which is why we love it, I guess.
And all in all, I think we've had a good August, to be honest. I think couldn't really have asked for a much better August than that. Obviously, beating QPR would have been nice if we're going to really nitpick it. But yeah, I'm happy. I think it's been a good month. We're the Do Not Scratch Your Eyes podcast. We're available wherever you can get your podcast, whether that's on Spotify or on Apple iTunes or wherever else you get your podcast. We're also on YouTube. You can follow us at DNSYE_podcast on Twitter and on Instagram. And we're also on TikTok. Thank you very much.